Hey everybody, Dan York here. I'm actually Hey everybody, this is Dan York here in Israel again. I'm actually at the great fortress of Masada. This, when the Roman conquest came through, this was the last stronghold, the last Jewish stronghold after the fall of Jerusalem. And they ended up having a great massacre here. The Jews committing suicide. They would rather kill themselves than be slaves to the Romans. And so, this is a little update. This is about day 5 of our trip. I'm going to give you guys a little update. I haven't missed a couple of podcasts because the internet access has been a little bit hard to get a hold of. But I just wanted to update you guys about what we're doing, where we're at right now. Alright. A couple of days ago, we went to Tel Hazor. Tel Hazor is the largest tell in Israel. All right, and if you guys know what a tell is just a structure that has been built, has had many civilizations and many eras built on top of it, and it starts to become a tell when new people come in, they conquer, and they build their own structures on top of previous structures, and then it becomes a tell. And it begins to actually become very big. Tel Hazor is one of the biggest. It's one of the largest. In Joshua 11:10, Tel Hazor was referenced there as the city that Joshua actually burnt to the ground. We did a lot at Tel Hazor. We continue on. Okay, the next place we went to after Tel Hazor, we visited the actual National Forest of Tel Dan. And this is another tell. It's not as big as Tel Hazor, but some interesting facts about Tel Dan. Tel Dan, of course, was the tribe of Dan of Israel. It's one of the 12 tribes. And there is just great. The greenery in Tel Dan is amazing because it has great springs and brooks coming through all out that land. And the thing, interesting fact about Tel Dan that I could share with you guys is that if we look at the Jordan River, that's what that actually stands for. Jordan stands for the waters that descend from Dan, and so it's when it says that, it means that it's the waters that are coming down from Tel Dan. That's the main source of the Jordan River. They come from the tribe of Dan. They come from that area, Tel Dan, and Tel Dan had many ruins. We actually got to see an actual altar, sacrificial altar at Tel Dan, and also got to go up above. It had steps that went up above, and you were able to look into Lebanon, and as well as Israel. And so it was just an amazing sight at Tel Dan, and just to sort of learn some great facts about that place and about how the Jordan River really connects all throughout Israel, and how many of the names that are taken to claim the land, or many of the names that speak for the land, are all connected in some way. And so that was another great sight. We went to the Gates of Hell. The Gates of Hell were basically just it's basically just a cavern where they used to sacrifice and worship the false gods and idols that they had back in those days. And the Gates of Hell is a huge cavern, and they would make their sacrifices, and they would throw their sacrifices into the Gates of Hell. And in some cases, the sacrifices were actual real people or children. And so they would make their sacrifices and throw them into the cavern as a sign that they were sacrificing or sending their sacrifice to hell, to their god, or to whatever it was. And that was just an amazing sight there on that. The Golan Heights was next. This area is basically, the Golan Heights is not actually a place more than it is an area of Israel. The entire northwest corner of Israel, or northeast corner of Israel territory, is the Golan Heights. It borders with Syria and with the Jordan River up there. And from the Golan Heights, it's actually a high area, pretty like sort of how we are right now. And you're able to look down, and you're able to look into Syria and Lebanon at the same time. And that was just an amazing sight to get to that. So I got to see more countries than I've actually, been to. So something to look forward to. Kersey was the last place that we went to. And if you guys read in Matthew 8, it speaks about a man claiming the name Legion. He was basically possessed by demons, lived in the caverns. And this is the area that was told that Jesus actually healed the man and freed him of his possession. And the 2,000 swine that ran off the cliffs into the Sea of Galilee, Cursey, was that place. And we went there and we visited that and got to see the Sea of Galilee and the hillside. And we got to see the cliffs from where the 2,000 swine might have just driven themselves off of from possession of the demons that came out of Legion. And it was just an amazing sight to sit there and, we read that scripture, Matthew 8, on the hillside, and just to imagine Jesus and the disciples out there speaking with Legion, and then Jesus saying, get thee behind me, or, leave, and the demons asking Jesus for permission to leave into the swine. And it's just, it was just an amazing sight, and to think, I could be standing where Jesus stood when he said those words. And so that was cool. And then we got to see a desecrated chapel there from the Persian and the Syrians coming through. That was a chapel that used to be on the hillside, and we got lots of pictures of that on Facebook. You guys can check that out. That was actually a really cool place, Cursey. That's Kursi. But that's about what we did for day 3, and we just had a lot of great time for day 3, and just saw a lot. And a lot of the Holy Lands happened day 3, and the Holy Land, something is just completely different about visiting a Holy Land than it is about the other places. The idea that I could be standing or I'm around where Jesus was at, or Jesus walked, or Jesus shared his message. But we're having a great time. I'm here on this. Where am I again? It's hard keeping it all together. But I'm at the Great Fortress of Masada, and then once again, this is the last Jewish fortification after the Roman conquest came into Israel. And so I'm out here checking it out, and you guys will hear more about Masada here in a couple of podcasts. But just stay with us, keep praying for us. We're having a great time, and see you later.